This is my competitor's transcript. Reach up with your tongue right now and touch your teeth. Those are the only ones you are getting. And I do not think most people running through their day ever stop to think about that. You get one set as a grown person and they have to last you the whole rest of your life, 60 years, 70, and there is no second set coming behind them. The old people knew that in their bones. They guarded their teeth the way you would guard anything you could not replace. And they kept them, a great many of them, into old age on none of what fills the shelves now. I am Elias Yoder, and before I go further, let me be plain. I am not a doctor and I am not a dentist. Nothing I tell you today treats a tooth that has already gone bad. And if you have real trouble in your mouth, pain, swelling, a tooth that has turned, that is a dentist's matter, and no video, mine included, stands in place of one. What I can give you today is how to keep the good teeth you still have, which is a thing worth far more than most people realize because it is a great deal easier to keep a tooth than to get it back. What I am is a man raised in a house where the dentist was a long way off and a tooth once lost was lost. And so the whole business was aimed at not losing them in the first place. And that plain aim, I have come to think, taught the old people more about teeth than most people know now. I have gathered these old ways into a book over at eliasyoder.com. If you want it, it is there. That I's all, the thing nobody wants to hear. Here is the reframe, and it is the whole video. Your teeth are not being attacked by time. They are being attacked by your table. People talk about tooth trouble as though it were simply a thing that happens to you as you age, like gray hair, something that comes for everyone and cannot be helped. And that is not true, and the proof is in the mouths of the old people who had far less than you have and kept their teeth better than most people do now. The difference was not that they brushed more. Some of them scarcely brushed at all by the standards you are held to. The difference was what went in the mouth in the first place and what did not. And the thing that did not go in, mostly, was sugar. I want you to understand how new sugar is at the common table. For most of the time there have been people, sweetness was a rare thing. A bit of honey now and then. Fruit in its season, that was the whole of it for most folks most of the time. The idea of sweet things every day, sweet drinks all day long, sugar folded into nearly everything on the shelf, that is new. That is a thing of the last little while, and your teeth have not the least idea what to do with it. So before I tell you a single thing to do, I'll tell you the thing to stop because it is worth more than everything else put together. The one thing that does the damage, sugar, is what feeds the trouble in your mouth. I will tell you plainly how, because once you see it, you will not forget it. Your mouth is full of tiny living things. That is not a bad thing and it is not dirty. It is simply how a mouth is and it always has been. But those tiny things eat what you eat, and when you give them sugar they feast. And what they give off as they feast is an acid. And that acid is what eats at the hard surface of your tooth. That is the whole of how a tooth goes bad, plainly told. Sugar goes in, the small things feast, acid comes off, and the tooth is worn at from the outside. And the worst of all of it is the sugary drink. Worse than the candy even. Because a sweet you eat and it is gone. But a sweet drink a man sips slowly across a whole morning, and every sip lays down another wash of sugar and another tide of that acid. So the tooth is never given a rest. It is bathed in it, hour after hour. If there were one single thing I could get a person to do for their teeth, it would not be to add anything at all. It would be to put down the sweet drink. That one thing by itself would do more than any paste or rinse or brush you could buy. And these drinks do a second harm on top of the first, because a great many of them are sharp and sour in themselves, acid of their own before the small things have made any. And that sourness wears at the tooth directly, so you are worn it twice. Water plainly is the friend of your teeth. The sweet drink is the enemy, and it is not a small one, clean, and when it matters most. Now to the keeping of them clean, and here the old people were plainer than you might think. And one thing they understood that gets lost now. It is not mainly the brushing. What does the deep harm is the food that gets caught and stays down between the teeth where the brush never reaches and sits there in the warm and the wet and begins to rot, and the small things gather to it and give off their acid right there against the tooth in the one place you cannot easily clean. So the getting of food out from between the teeth matters more than the scrubbing of their faces. An old dentist put it as plain as it can be put. Only clean between the teeth you wish to keep. So you get between them, with floss or a thread, whatever you have, once a day, you get down between every tooth and you clear out what has lodged there. And that one habit will do more than a great deal of brushing, and rinse after you eat. A good rinse of plain water after a meal, swished hard and spat out, carries away a great deal before it can settle. A little salt in the water or a pinch of baking soda does it even better, for the salt draws and the soda takes the edge off the acid. Nothing fancy, a rinse. But the most important time of all is the last thing at night, and here is why, and it is the plainest sense once you hear it. While you sleep, your mouth goes dry and still. All day long your spit is working, washing and carrying and protecting, but at night it slows nearly to nothing. So whatever you leave in your mouth when you lie down has the whole night, hours and hours undisturbed, in the warm and the dark, for the small things to feast on with nothing to wash them off. A mouth sent to bed dirty is a mouth left defenseless for 8 hours, so the cleaning and the flossing at night before you lie down matters more than any other cleaning in the day. Say your teeth to bed clean. That one is worth remembering above the rest. The old oil for the mouth. There is an old practice worth mentioning here, and it is a gentle one, and it does no harm, and many find it does good. You take a spoon of plain oil. Coconut oil is the usual one, and you put it in your mouth and you swish it slow, back and forth through the teeth for a while. Some do it 10 seconds and rest and go again. And as you swish, it works through and around the teeth and under the tongue, and carries a good deal of waste up out of the mouth with it. And then, and this matters, you spit it out. Onto the ground outside is best, or into the bin, but never down your drain, because the oil will harden in the pipe and stop it up in time. Spit it out and rinse with water after. I will not oversell it. It is not a cure for anything, and I do not offer it as one. It is a plain, old, harmless way of cleaning the mouth, and a good many people swear it leaves the mouth cleaner and fresher than anything else they do, and it costs a spoon of oil. Try it if you like. It will do you no harm, and it may do you a small good, and that is all I will claim for it. What my grandmother put on the table. Now let me tell you the thing I actually want you to carry away, and it is not a thing you do to your teeth at all. It is a thing you feed them. My grandmother's table was a hard table, and I mean that as the highest praise. The food on it took work to eat. There was crisp, raw apple and carrot pulled from the ground and eaten near raw, and celery and hard crusts and things that fought you a little as you chewed them. And I did not understand until I was much older that all that crunching was doing something, because a tooth and a jaw are like anything else in a body. Used they stay strong, spared they weaken. A jaw that spends its life on soft, refined, easy food that hardly needs a tooth at all, is a jaw going soft from idleness, the way an arm would that is never used. But a jaw set to real work day after day on hard and honest food stays strong and holds its teeth firm and well set in it, and does its work of chewing evenly across all of them, so no one tooth is worn before its time. That's why the old saying about the apple has more in it than people know. The crunch itself is the good. The old people ate hard food and worked their jaws and kept their teeth firm, and we eat soft food that slides down with hardly a chew, and then wonder why nothing in the mouth is as strong as it was in theirs. So the plainest thing I can tell you, past all the cleaning, is to eat hard food. Put crunch back on your table, lacquer, carrot and apple and celery and cucumber. A hard crust, something that makes your jaw do a day's work. It feeds the teeth by making them work. And there is no bottle in the world that does what an honest, hard-chewed meal does. That is the inherited principle in this whole video. You do not keep your teeth by adding something to them. You keep them by taking the sugar away and giving the jaw real work, exactly as the old people did without ever being taught to, because there was nothing soft and sweet on the table to do otherwise. Who profits from the trouble? Now a word on why the plain way of keeping teeth is not the thing you hear about. And there is no villain here, and I will not invent one. Nobody sat in a room and agreed to rot the nation's teeth. It is worse than that in a way, because it is a system nobody has to coordinate. Look at what I have told you today. Put down the sweet drink, clean between your teeth with a bit of thread. Rinse with salt water, eat a hard carrot. Not one of those makes anybody $1. There is no company that grows rich on you drinking water instead of soda, or chewing an apple, or flossing with plain thread. But there is a great deal of money in the sweet drink that started the trouble. And then a great deal more money in the paste and the rinse and the whitening and the treatments sold to you to fix the trouble the drink began. The same table that profits from what harms your teeth profits again from what is sold to mend them. And the plain free things that would have kept the trouble from ever starting sit there unsold, because there is nothing in them for anybody to sell. There is no scheme. The money runs one way, and what you hear about drifts along behind it, and nobody has to push. What I would have you do, here is what I ask, and it is small. Do not try to change everything at once. Do one thing. If you drink sweet drinks, that is your one thing, and it is the biggest one there is. Put them down and drink water. and let your teeth have the rest from that acid that they have not had in years. And then, when that is settled, add the night cleaning. Floss and rinse before you lie down every night, so your teeth do not spend the long dry hours defenseless. And put a hard thing on your table each day, a carrot or an apple, and give your jaw its work. That is the whole of it. Nothing to buy, nothing to swallow, just the plain old way of guarding what you cannot replace. Then come down to the comments and tell me plainly what you found, and I want the real answer, not the flattering one. And tell me one more thing, because I'm curious. Tell me the hardest, crunchiest thing your grandmother kept on her table. The food that took real work to eat. I have a suspicion those old tables were harder than ours by a good deal, and I would like to see the proof of it in your own families. What comes next? Next time I want to talk about water again plainly, because so much of what a body needs comes back to it, and the mouth is only one more place where a body kept well watered does its own quiet work of protecting itself. But for today, hold on to the plain thing. You get one set of teeth. You do not keep them by buying something to put on them. You keep them by taking the sugar away, cleaning between them at night, and giving your jaw honest, hard work to do, exactly the way the old people kept theirs. And remember what I said at the start, because I will not close without it. I am not a dentist. A tooth that has already gone bad, or any real trouble in the mouth, is a matter for one, and you go and see them, and you do not let a video, mine or anyone's, stand between you and that. Take good care of yourselves, and take good care of the ones at your table. The people who built this country with their hands knew that, and we are only just starting to remember it. And this topic is currently very viral. I want you to deeply analyze the script's style, tone, pacing, emotional triggers, structure, storytelling flow, audience retention techniques, and overall psychology. Then create a ready-to-use voiceover script for me on this title. The natural oil that may help support stronger, healthier teeth. The new script should follow my competitor's structure, flow, pacing, and emotional impact, but all wording must be completely original and unique to me. The goal is to maximize virality and potentially outperform my competitor. The script should be fully ready to use, with no headings, scene labels, timestamps,